This is News Today with WDW News Today. I'm Tom Corliss of WDWNT.com. Please like this video, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell to make sure you never miss the latest from the Disney theme parks all around the world. But here now the news for February 6th, 2026. I think some things have happened this week. The Walt Disney Company announced that Josh D'Amaro will be the next Chief Executive Officer, CEO, after a unanimous vote was held on Monday, February 2nd. He will take the position during the annual meeting on March 18th. The board also intends to appoint D'Amaro as a director immediately following that meeting. Dana Walden was also a candidate. She is now named the new president and chief creative officer of the company. Quote, Josh D'Amaro is an exceptional leader and the right person to become our next CEO, said Bob Iger, current CEO of the Walt Disney Company. He has an instinctive appreciation of the Disney brand and a deep understanding of what resonates with our audiences, paired with the rigor and attention to detail required to deliver some of our most ambitious projects. His ability to combine creativity with operational excellence is exemplary, and I am thrilled for Josh and the company. Meanwhile, former CEO Michael Eisner, our beloved, congratulated D'Amaro. Congratulations to Josh for becoming CEO of the Walt Disney Company, and congratulations to Chairman James Gorman for making such a wise pick as well as promoting Dana Walden to President and Chief Creative Officer. My advice to Josh is to continue Bob Iger's strategy that creativity will handle profits, always protect the brand, and keep close the words of Walt Disney. We love to entertain kings and queens, but the vital thing to remember is this: every guest receives the VIP treatment. Good luck. D'Amaro graduated with a bachelor's degree in business administration from Georgetown University in 1993. He worked in the finance department of the Gillette Company before joining Disney in 1998. Until 2008, he was vice president of sales and travel trade marketing. He was also director of business planning and strategy development from 2005 to 2006. He became chief financial officer of Disney Consumer Products Licensing in 2008. In 2010, D'Amaro was promoted to VP of Adventures by Disney. From 2013 to 2014, he was VP of Disney's Animal Kingdom, overseeing initial construction of Pandora, the World of Avatar. He then became Senior Vice President of Walt Disney World's Resort and Transportation Operations in September of 2014 and remained in that position until February of 2017. Later that year, he became Chief Creative Officer of Walt Disney World. In 2018, he moved to California, where he was president of Disneyland Park for a year and a half. He then returned to Florida as president of Walt Disney World, and when Bob Chapek was promoted from Disney Experiences chairman to CEO of Disney, D'Amaro took over Chapek's position. He has remained the head of Disney Experiences for almost 6 years, overseeing management of all 6 Disney resorts and Disney Cruise Line, including 12 theme parks, 57 hotels, the upcoming Disneyland Abu Dhabi, and 8 cruise ships with more on the way, as well as Disney Consumer Products, Walt Disney Imagineering, Disney Vacation Club, Adventures by Disney, Disney Institute, and Story Living by Disney. And he leads the worldwide team of 185,000 cast members. D'Amaro also joined the Make-A-Wish America Board of Directors in 2023. He's a member of the United Sales Travel Association Leadership Roundtable. Let's stop and talk about this for a moment. And funny enough, I'm glad we delayed the news a bit. We had WW News Tonight, which we've done for 10 years, had its final show last night, and we had all hands on deck working on that show last night. Thank you to everyone who supported that program over on the WDWNT TV channel. But because of that, we had to delay the news a day, our Thursday show. Obviously, we're a few days late to all of this, but I'm glad I waited. The wonderful people at Disney we work with in PR coordinated a surprise call with myself and a couple of my colleagues from around the industry. And we got to talk to Josh for a few minutes, and it was very, very cool. He kind of ambushed me, though. They opened the floor to questions. He immediately, Tom, I know you have a question, and I was caught off guard. Number one, we didn't know this was happening. It was a surprise. And number two, I wanted to ask about this. I wanted to bring up Figment, and I didn't. I'm going to find Josh again. Next time I see you, Josh, we're talking about our Purple Lord and Savior. But either way, we got a chance to talk to Josh for 20, 30 minutes, and his vision of what the future will be and what he feels is important to the company. And I just truly believe this is the right guy. And literally in the middle of that call, Josh said, you know, you're not going to agree always with every decision we make. And just a very realistic view of how this all works. But the goal is, within the company, feels like to focus on their people, understanding that they could build, like he said in the meeting, they could build the most fantastic attractions in the world, but it doesn't mean anything without the cast. Those personal connections between the cast and the guests are what's most important, what makes the impact, what makes people fall in love with this brand for life. It's the reason you're watching this. It's the reason I'm sitting here. Like, this guy was a wonderful introduction into all of this and the reason I started to fall in love with it. But really, the Disney difference in the cast is what has kept me a true believer in all of this all these years. So to have someone with that realistic of a view and that truly believes in creativity and the future of this company being, to steal his buzzword, boundless, I feel really good about things. Again, not going to agree with every decision. You could say what we want about MuppetVision and Rivers of America, and certainly we're going to keep talking about the DAS thing until that's resolved. But beyond that, night and day between the previous regime and now. The way I felt from 2018 to 2021 versus how I feel today about the Walt Disney Company is totally different. And no, it's not because they let us back on the media list. It has nothing to do with it. Either way, we were bound for a more positive outlook, just because it's so clear when you talk to people at Walt Disney Imagineering or in the company at large, how much happier they are and how much more seen they feel. And whether it's the cast members I've spoken to at Disneyland or Disney World that he stopped and spoke to, and they feel seen and understood. And they've told us numerous times they're willing to take, wherever Josh wants to lead them, they will go. Tremendous leader for this company. That's great to hear. And then you hear from people at Walt Disney Imagineering how happy they are and how it feels like there's someone above that believes in their creativity. That doesn't mean that creativity is always going to work. It's the same reason in any art form there is art that is celebrated and art that is forgotten. That's just part of how that goes. But I certainly think there is more art that is celebrated right now than there was at the height of the Bob Chapek era with Pixar Pier and Toy Story Land and those sorts of things. I feel much more optimistic about Villains Land and everything going on at DCA, the Avatar expansion, the Coco ride, Disneyland Forward in general. What's going on at the international parks, to see more money invested in Hong Kong, to see the large investment in Paris, two of my favorite places in the world. I just feel really good about things. I feel really good about things. Yeah, he's a human being, and they are a business, and they're a mega corporation. And as fans of the art and the creativity of this company, there will always be that struggle, no matter how much you like the CEO. Michael Eisner, we all adore Michael Eisner. Michael Eisner was there and is the reason so many wonderful big things happened, like Euro Disney, things like the Indiana Jones Adventure, Splash Mountain, Tower of Terror, all those things from the Star Tours, all those things from the mid-'80s through to the mid-'90s that were fantastic and beyond comprehension at that time, is with Frank and Michael at the helm. But also, let's not forget, there was lots of bad, kids. Losing our purple friend here was during Michael Eisner. Really the first destruction of Epcot Center. Hong Kong Disneyland, Walt Disney Studios Paris, two of the worst actually the two worst Disney theme parks at opening ever. Unless maybe you were at Disneyland July 17th to 55. I want to talk to those people. I heard they had a bad time. There was bad there too. In every regime, no matter how much we admire and love the person who was in charge of the Walt Disney Company, there was some bad. Walt Disney was in charge when Disneyland's opening day went very awry. Walt Disney opened Storybook Land without anything there. It was a boat ride through dirt. So no one is completely infallible. But I will say this again. I think I am optimistic for the future. I expect big things from Mr. DeMauro and his regime. And I hope they deliver. I'm rooting for them, as we all should be. We love this company. We want it to be great. And I think the fact that just mere days after finding out he's getting the job, it was so important to sit down with the fan media, to sit down with those of us in this industry that represent you, that represent what you want to see in the parks and resorts and in the movies and elsewhere in the company. That to me speaks volumes, because under Bob Chapek, we would have never in a million years been respected in that way, you and I. And it was true. Bob infamously would not speak to anyone. He'd go somewhere and speak and run away. And Josh is the opposite. you almost can't speak to anyone that works, especially at Disneyland Resort, and they don't have a Josh story of when he stopped and like heard them out and their concerns and their joys and their fears. And that's so important. So he's the man. As far as I'm concerned, he's the man. He has my vote of confidence, and I pray that he succeeds, and I pray that under Mr. DeMauro we see the return of a viable Journey into Imagination attraction. But I think he needs Walt Disney World's cooperation. I don't know if he can steamroll that into happening. If he can, go for it. But otherwise, I just want him to have a good ride again and bring back the Dreamfinder, please. Meanwhile, Dana Walden, co-chair of Disney Entertainment, will be the new president and chief creative officer beginning March 18th. The company had reportedly considered making DeMauro and Walden co-CEOs, but ended up going the conventional solo route. Quote, Dana Walden is an excellent leader who commands tremendous respect from the creative community, said Bob Iger. Given that creativity is at the heart of everything Disney does, she is a wonderful choice to serve this new leadership role. In the years since Dana joined Disney, she has accumulated great knowledge about the many facets of our businesses and brands, and is very well prepared to be the president and chief creative officer. Walden joined Disney via the acquisition of 21st Century Fox and related assets in 2019. She was the chairperson and CEO of Fox Television Group, which included Fox Broadcasting Company, 20th Century Fox Television, Fox 21 Television Studios, Fox Consumer Products, and 20th Television. During her 25 years with 21st Century Fox, the studios overseen by Walden received 184 Emmy wins, 29 Golden Globes, 17 Screen Actors Guild Awards, and 24 Peabody Awards and Humanitas Prizes. She became the chair of entertainment at Walt Disney Television, and then in 2022, the chair of Disney Entertainment Content. In February 2023, she was named co-chair of Disney Entertainment alongside Alan Bergman. Walden is responsible for global streaming and television, leading ABC Entertainment, ABC News, ABC-owned television stations, Disney-branded television, Disney Television Studios, Freeform, FX, Hulu Originals, National Geographic, and Onyx Collective. Disney has been nominated for and won a record-breaking number of Emmys during her tenure, including 183 Emmy Award nominations in 2024. Though Walden was responsible for the controversial suspension of Jimmy Kimmel Live last year, Kimmel praised how she handled the situation and said she should be the next CEO. If someone suspends you from television and in the end you're like, she's really good though, she should be CEO. That is, I don't know if there's higher praise than that. I don't have, obviously with Josh, we are Parks and Resorts. That is our life and our living, and that's what we're familiar with. I don't know Dana Walden at all. That is an impressive resume, and I think based on Josh's experience and her experience, this sort of team that's been created at the top of the Walt Disney Company makes a ton of sense. So again, makes sense to me. I like having Josh is not purely a Parks and Resorts guy, but really he is. He doesn't want you to say that, but really he is. He's one of us. But at the same time, I think it's so important to have someone with that track record on the entertainment side for him to work directly alongside of. I think it's a good team. I think this will work. Disney has filed a response to the lawsuit filed against them when a woman tripped and fell over the Magic Kingdom trolley tracks in October of 2025. They claim she is negligent and owed a duty to use reasonable care for her own safety. This is my favorite thing ever. The lawsuit was filed by Rhonda Smith of Frankfort, Kentucky against Walt Disney Parks and Resorts. Filed on December 22nd, she claims that the trolley tracks did not adequately have marked steel rails and flangeways near a castle attraction. Yes, always want to have flangeways near your castle attractions. It caused her to trip and fall, resulting in permanent injuries and substantial medical expenses. She claims the area lacked adequate warnings, guardrails, cones, stanchions, or other measures necessary to protect guests from tripping hazards associated with the embedded track during the nighttime crowd conditions and parade operations. Disney has since responded to the lawsuit, and they defend that Smith was negligent and should have used reasonable care for her own safety. In addition, they state she breached her duty by failing to pay adequate attention to her surroundings, failing to observe or appreciate the conditions, assuming the risk of injury, and or otherwise failing to take precautions to avoid the incident. Good. Do not ruin Main Street. I do not want any additional railings, caution tape, markings, any of that. It is turn of the century America. It will remain that way. Watch where you walk, lady. Obviously, it's awful that the lady got hurt, but at the same time, you know, just because you fall on someone else's property doesn't immediately make it their fault, and that's kind of an American lawsuit problem. That's a thing we do here, and it's unfortunate. You know, obviously, sometimes people are at fault, for sure. I'm not saying in the history of lawsuits there has not been an unreasonable lawsuit about a trip and fall. This is an unreasonable one, and yeah, of course, I hope the lady's okay, but at the same time, this is not the answer. Disney Resort refillable mugs are used for free refills of fountain drinks, coffee, tea, or hot cocoa at any Walt Disney World Resort hotel, but now there's a new mug with an assortment of Pixar characters available. The design is by Jerrod Maruyama, who also created the latest popcorn bucket available at the parks. The mugs are currently $22.99 plus tax, and their designs do change periodically. The last design we had for, I think, over a year or two. Often the mugs will come with a few different handle and lid colors to differentiate them, so that way you can get a different color per member of your party, so no one accidentally drinks dad's soda and gets yelled at. Oh, wait, that happened to me. This new design has the same, Tommy, that's my soda! This new design has the same orange, pink, blue, and purple as previous versions, but the new mug has a blue background that fades from dark blue to light blue. Mike Wazowski, Mater, Lightning McQueen, Edna Mode, Sully, Boo, Alberto, Ian, Arlo, the Good Dinosaur. I like that we couldn't just put Arlo, we had to put the Good Dinosaur in because no one remembers that movie. And Jack can be seen on the side. I do like that character, by the way. I actually like that movie. Continuing around are Woody, Carl Fredricksen, Russell, Doug, Jesse, Lotso Huggenbear, and Miguel. And finally, Nemo, Dory, Crush, Bing Bong, Sadness, Joy, Rex, Heimlich, and Wally. Very, very cute. I do like when the mugs are more resort and park specific, though. It is a Walt Disney World vacation mug. I know people like characters, but also you could have all these characters on there. Just put them in the park or at the resort hotels, is what I would say. The Cinderella Castle Moat at the Magic Kingdom is completely drained to allow crew members to get closer to the castle for its repainting. More sections have also been repainted. Draining began on Wednesday morning, February 4th, and continued rapidly for the past few days. The only water left is the small amount that is left over from the drain, leaving dirt and debris washed up on the concrete banks of the moat. There are 2 pumps for draining, one on the Tomorrowland side and one on the Liberty Square side. There are also dams in the water, so the moat doesn't have to be completely drained all around. Now that the water is drained from around the castle, crew members and vehicles will be able to pull in there and then go up and paint the castle. We did notice a few new spots that have been repainted. There's more white paint on the trim covering some of the previous gold color. And from the Tomorrowland side, there's more gray paint on the back end of this side of the castle. From Liberty Square, there's more trim that has been repainted as well. Of course, the castle was repainted in 2020 in preparation for the 50th anniversary in that god-awful pink and gold, and now is being repainted back more similarly to what it was previously for oh so many years. But I've seen social media discourse. There are people upset that the pink is going away, and they're calling us who like the gray like out of touch or dumb for not liking, you know, how Cinderella Castle was designed to look. Yeah, you should, hey everybody, go to France and tell me if real castles are pink. Please let me know. Also, it's literally not pink in the movie. In the movie, it is purely white. Walt Disney Imagineering has filed a permit for the Carousel of Products, which is getting an update at the Magic Kingdom that's set to include the new audio animatronic version of Walt Disney. The permit was just filed on February 5th by Imagineering. It contracts Grinnell Fire Protections to install FAFP systems. In construction, this refers to a fire alarm and a fire protection system which detect, notify, and suppress fires. These systems include smoke detection, audible notifications, and suppression methods like sprinkler or foam systems. And with the upcoming addition of the Walt Disney Audio Animatronic, Disney may be preparing the space for this to happen already. What's interesting about this is it probably means the refurb is greater than just adding a scene to the attraction. It probably means we're also going to get some technical upgrades throughout the building. The building is old and probably could use some love, some TLC, and it sounds like that is going to happen. Still, we have no time frame on this. We don't know when the Carousel of Products is going to close, when this is going to reopen. We don't know any of that yet, but it seems work in earnest is beginning. The mural on the side of the Storybook Circus train station of the Magic Kingdom has been refreshed We talked about this on the show, didn't we? I think I said, like, guys, you're going to put a meet and greet there. Could you please just print another one out? Because this mural is outside, it fades significantly due to sun exposure and other weather. But again, they have fixed it now. It looks good. Good to see some maintenance happening. Refurbishment work continues around the Haunted Mansion as additional scrim has been added to the building's facade at Magic Kingdom. This follows Disney filing 2 permits for construction at the ride and then clearing the lawn of shrubs and trees. Last week, we reported scrim being added around the lower part of the Haunted Mansion's facade and then extended. Now we can see that more scrim has been added to that, increasing its height around the building. From the front entrance, as you can see here, most of the left side and half of the front are now obscured. From the photo pass spot in front of the attraction, we can only see the top half of the front of the facade as well as the top of the left-facing tower. At certain angles, the scrim is semi-transparent, allowing us to see the shape of the building's facade, but obscuring the details. Scaffolding went up in the Q's graveyard beginning in January. More scaffolding covered in green scrim went up on the lawn soon after that. The Haunted Mansion remains operational. I think it will through all of this probably. But again, this is all connected to queue modifications and other things happening in conjunction with the adjacent Cars and Villains Land projects. This program is brought to you by our official travel agent sponsor, Be Our Guest Vacations. Your dream vacation begins with Be Our Guest and their concierge team of expert vacation planners. Head on over to wwnt.travel and their team will design your next magical vacation, from the Walt Disney World and Disneyland Resorts to Disney Cruise Line to Adventures by Disney and more. And the best part is their concierge services are 100% free. That's right. So book today. That all started on News Tonight. That was where we began that. And then it carried over to this show. And now News Tonight is gone. I'm sad. Real quick, though, I want to mention Carousel of Products at carouselofproducts.com. I'm showing the wrong magnet. This is last month's magnet of the month. There's a new one. You saw that teaser already at the top of the show. I'd love to see your guesses in the comments. Let me know what you guys think it is. I bet you can't guess this one. I'm going to, wild claim. I'm going to bet no one gets this one right. However, if you join the Pin of the Month program now until the 15th of the month, you can still get the Rock and Roller Coaster pin. We do still have that. And now we're going to allow for monthly subscriptions. So you don't have to buy the whole year at once. Keep that in mind. And if you want to get your collection kickstarted, we do have very limited. We are down to the last, I don't know if we're in double digits yet. We might be close. We're getting down to the end of our mystery pin set featuring the 7 magnet designs from last year. So get all this and more at carouselofproducts.com. A new How Not to Draw short starring Figment will premiere on the Disney Channel Animation YouTube channel in March. It will mark his first recent mainstream media appearance. The video will be released on Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026, which is just 2 days before his birthday on March 5th. No other information about the short has been announced. How Not to Draw is a series of Disney Channel shorts in which various animated characters come to life as a live-action animator is attempting to draw them. You can see the most recent episode with prep and landing embedded in our post online. There have been rumors and announcements suggesting a Figment TV series or movie are in the works. In 2022, that film was announced from Seth Rogen's Point Grey Pictures with Dan Hernandez and Benji Samit, both attached to Pokemon Detective Pikachu. Were going to be the writers. But Disney CEO Bob Iger ignored this potential film when asked about a Figment movie in early 2025 and said he would talk to Disney's creative team about a series or short-form video. So now, here is a short-form video. This is the key to his future. This is the key. More mainstream acknowledgement of this character, and Walt Disney World will be unable. It's a bad look if they keep promoting this character and the current ride is what people have to ride. That ride is an embarrassment. It is so bad. It is so behind the times. It was bad in 2002. Let's be honest. When they opened Journey to Your Imagination in 1999, that was the worst attraction I've ever seen in my entire life. I cried. I think this is the last time I cried, was when that opened. And then they, thank God for the Imagineering team, that at least with the little money they had, tried to fix the thing and made Journey to Imagination with Figment considerably better, but still not very good. And we live with that now I thought that was going to be a temporary fix. It'd be a couple years and they'd go back in. That never materialized. So now here we are 20-something years later, and this thing is still hobbling along, this bad iteration of a beloved character. But it's good. People in the company clearly care. We've got this mainstream appearance. I'm going to leave that video on loop once it debuts, and we're going to get those view numbers up, and we're going to get this guy the ride he deserves. After a brief closure, Frozen Ever After at Epcot will reopen next week with updated animatronics featuring physical faces. According to the Disney World calendar, Frozen Ever After will resume its operations on Thursday, February 12th. The ride has been closed since January 26th to install those fixed audio animatronics with the physical faces that'll match those that we found at Hong Kong Disneyland starting in 2023, at Tokyo Disney Sea starting in 2024, and which will debut in the Frozen Ever After ride in Paris in just a few weeks' time. Of course, Frozen Ever After, the first version of the ride, opened at Epcot in 2016. Crews are working on the facade of the former Muppets courtyard at Disney's Hollywood Studios, and they have removed some of the paneling that was there previously. The facade of the show building is getting a Monstropolis re-theme, and crews have been working at the very top of the building. Crew members continue to work on the archways of the larger section of the building. They are wrapped in some sort of plastic cover. This is the area that holds the actual theater, while the brick facade is the entrance and queue. Paneling underneath the archway was removed since our last update. The crews have been working to remove facade details that were specific to Muppet's courtyard. This pair of archways is in the Monstropolis concept art you're seeing now, but will possibly be redone to better match the new monstrous theming. The concept art shows green monster-inspired trim and decorations on the theater. New faux windows on the building make it look like the theater is up against a series of apartments, perhaps. Disney is spending $22.4 million to renovate the theater, but they've still not announced what will be inside. After prop pipes were removed from the Gonzo's Royal Flush facade, the fascia was removed from part of the roof's edge. Crews are currently cutting openings on the side of the building and removing brick. The building houses the area's restroom. It'll be renovated and reused, we believe, as part of the Monstropolis reimagining. There are a total of 4 cranes or lifts working at the construction site to work simultaneously on these projects. Meanwhile, Mama Melrose's Ristorante Italiano is becoming the Harryhausen's restaurant for Monsters, Inc. A fire safety permit for the restaurant was filed not too long ago. Pizza Rizzo, it's believed, will be similarly renovated into another quick service restaurant, but again, we have no idea what in that case. Speaking of MuppetVision, a Muppet Lab sign from MuppetVision was recycled for use in the Muppet Show Revival special that aired on ABC and Disney Plus this week. In the Muppet Lab skit of The Muppet Show, a Muppet Lab text-only sign is visible on the wall. This prop once hung outside of MuppetVision 3D on a staircase unavailable to guests. You can see it in our photo here. It's off on the left. MuppetVision 3D and the rest of the Muppets courtyard closed permanently last summer. The area, as you know, as we just said, is being turned into a Monsters, Inc. area. We know that Disney took a lot of propping. We know a lot of it's going to Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets, but it's nice to see that this sign made it over to WDI. WDI manages the Muppets, actually, and that's, I think, how this all came to be. This is a really deep cut. It was really hidden in the background, very out of the way. So kudos to our friend Matt, a friend of the show, who sent this in to us, and it's a cool little detail. Though Dinosaur at Disney's Animal Kingdom closed permanently to guests over the weekend, cast members got to say their final farewell on Monday, and they're joined by a special guest, Dr. Seeker himself, Wallace Langham. Langham appeared in costume as Dr. Seeker and posed for photos with the cast in front of Dinosaur. Photographer Michael Huang shared a picture with Langham in the Rope Drop Humor Facebook group, writing, "This morning I met this guy in a white lab coat who tried to get me and my friends into a time rover. Granted, it was tempting, but it was not something we were seeking this cold, cold morning, so we politely declined." Attractions cast member Reese Moskowitz also shared a photo with Langham commenting, "I met that guy too, but all he did was give me my letter of resignation. 0 out of 10, terrible encounter." Though Disney fans might know him as a heck of a paleontologist, Langham has a long career in show business, including The Larry Sanders Show, CSI, CSI Vegas, Veronica's Closet, and For All Mankind. In addition to Langham, the Dinosaur pre-show starred Felicia Rashad as Dr. Marsh, but now gone. This is such a cool thing. I love that they did this for cast members. I adore this. Do more of this. What a cool thing. Meanwhile, the DinoLand U.S.A. entrance arch is gone at Disney's Animal Kingdom following the land's permanent closure. They did not waste time. Makes sense. This is a directional sign. You don't want people going to a land that's not open. And though guests can still cross the bridge that once led to DinoLand, they will no longer pass under that archway. Inside the land, construction walls, scrim, and planters block access to the extinct land. The open walkways just lead guests to the theater in the wild, featuring Finding Nemo, The Big Blue, and Beyond, and the Asia section of the park beyond that. The bases of the archway remain with brown scrim wrapped around the exposed hardware. Here's what the archway looked like before it was taken down. It featured a long-necked dinosaur standing above the DinoLand USA lettering, and a semicircle behind the dinosaur listed the core tenets of the Dino Institute: exploration, excavation, exultation. The Dino Institute logo was on either side of DinoLand USA, and on the other side was Discovery Island, and thank you for visiting DinoLand USA. DinoLand now fully closed to be transformed into the tropical Americas. Meanwhile, from aboard Expedition Everest, we could see construction continuing on the Encanto attraction in the forthcoming Pueblo Esperanza area. A tall white crane is perched above the attraction construction. It appears white roofing material is present on the left, higher side of the attraction building. The roof area is surrounded on all sides by temporary bright orange safety fencing. The lower side has the parapets in place around the roof exterior. However, roofing materials have not yet been installed over the steel structure. We've seen significant vertical construction from the ground the last few weeks as access to DinoLand was still available. It's now harder to see that, but thanks to Expedition Everest or BioReconstruct's aerial photography, I'm sure we will be able to keep tabs on Tropical America's opening in 2027. That's next year. The affection section in Animal Kingdom will temporarily close, and the current animals will be rehomed for the upcoming Bluey theme. Animals native to Australia will move in instead. The affection section of Animal Kingdom will close temporarily starting February 23rd. The current animals will be rehomed once the area closes, and the Australian animals will move in so guests can pet animals native to Bluey's home. The affection section's calendar on the Walt Disney World website has been updated to reflect this. In addition, the rest of Conservation Station at Animal Kingdom will also be closing at this time. The closures impact the Wildlife Express train and Rafiki's Planet Watch in full. Permits have already been filed for the Bluey retheme. No opening date announced just yet. Frank's Bench has returned to Main Street USA at Disneyland with a new plaque. Frank, a beloved Disneyland guest nicknamed the Porch Potato, passed away in August of 2025. Frank was dubbed the Porch Potato because of how much time he spent sitting on the Palm Parlor porch, say that 3 times fast, on Main Street USA at Disneyland. He was also called the Mayor of Main Street. The bench was temporarily removed from the porch but returned in late January with a new plaque that reads, "New Century Historical Society, every day is my best day." This was reportedly one of his favorite quotes. Both CEO Bob Iger and CEO to-be Josh D'Amaro shared tributes after Frank's passing last August. Belated condolences on the passing of our beloved Frank, a.k.a. the Porch Potato and the Mayor of Main Street. Frank graced our presence daily, greeting people at Disneyland with so much warmth and charm. He is already missed. And now he is a permanent part of Disneyland history. That's a wonderful tribute. Disney's Fairy Tale Weddings and Honeymoons is adding the Haunted Mansion Courtyard at Disneyland Park to their lineup of wedding venues. The courtyard will be available for ceremonies beginning July 2026. The Haunted Mansion Courtyard is available for early morning weddings and vow renewals before Disneyland opens. It can accommodate up to 25 guests, not room for one more. A package includes a dedicated officiant, light decor, photography, and transportation to and from a Disneyland Resort hotel. The grounds of the Haunted Mansion were renovated and expanded in 2024, so I guess this facilitates this. Couples can also get married at the nearby Magnolia Park Terrace, added to the venue lineup last summer, or have a sea wedding in the Haunted Mansion parlor on the Disney Destiny as well. You can start planning your Disney wedding at DisneyWeddings.com. The one-day Savannah Bananas experience returns March 26, 2026 at both Disneyland Park and Disney California Adventure. The greatest show in sports, the Savannah Bananas, are going back to Disneyland for that one day. One of the newest Banana Ball Championship League teams, the Indianapolis Clowns, will also join in. New this year, the Banana Ball antics will extend to both theme parks. Select players from the Savannah Bananas and the Clowns will appear at both Disneyland and DCA. Pick a spot along the Disneyland parade route for the Savannah Bananas Cavalcade. The team will also put on a special performance in front of Sleeping Beauty Castle. At California Adventure, a high-energy performance at the World of Color viewing area, Paradise Gardens Park, will feature surprises and more. On Savannah Bananas Day, you can enjoy banana-flavored bites and beverages at dining locations and carts around the resort. For a limited time, enter for your chance to win a getaway for a 3-night vacation to Disney Resort to experience Savannah Bananas Day on March 26th. The winner will also receive up to 4 tickets to the Savannah Bananas versus Indianapolis Clowns game at Angel Stadium on March 27th. The sweepstakes is open now through 12 p.m. Eastern on February 27th. The celebration has begun for the 25th anniversary of Disney California Adventure, which opened its gates on February 8th, 2001. Remember that? It was bad then. The marquee of Carthay Circle Restaurant, a main icon of the park, wishes the park a happy 25th birthday. There it is. It has pixie dust elements on the side of it as well. As part of the celebration, a new dynamic popcorn bucket featuring the Pixar Pal-Around Ferris wheel is available. The bucket, again, celebrating that anniversary. It is $50.99. It's DCA's signature Ferris wheel, inspiring this popcorn bucket with pie-eyed Mickey inside of a starburst on the front. Similarly, the wheel on the bucket swings and has 6 swinging gondolas. Each of the colorful gondolas features the Pixar Pier text, and they are modeled after the actual gondolas on the attraction. Characters Mr. Incredible and Mrs. Incredible are on the red gondola, Heimlich and Flick on the green, Doug and Russell on the orange. Some of these slide and some are stationary. Mike and Sully are on a blue gondola, Wally and Eve on the purple gondola. The Navy strap showcases other attractions around DCA, and this is also the first popcorn bucket with a new feature known as Magic Inside Technology. This allows the bucket to be interactive throughout Disneyland Park and DCA, almost like the Magic Band Plus interactivity, or if you're very old like me, you'll remember Glow with the Show. The bucket reacts through color and light patterns depending on the location it is in. Activate the magic in the park by powering on the bucket and watch it change colors inspired by every land, blue, pink, and purple, for example. Press Mickey's nose and at home to activate the lights, and spin the wheel to activate different light sequences and effects. Starting from today, the popcorn bucket can be purchased at various locations throughout DCA while supplies last. I had to own this. I had to. I'm glad they picked it up for me because I would have flown back just for this bucket. I'm going to say this, for years and years and years, Tokyo Disney invented the hype around popcorn buckets. They did the most extravagant, crazy popcorn buckets. Once the U.S. parks caught on, I was like, oh, okay. And they did some sculpted things. I was like, oh, that's cool. Okay. There have been a couple as of late where I think the U.S. parks have surpassed Tokyo in popcorn bucket technology. That's a term. First one, my favorite all time is still the Disneyland Railroad train that is basically just a toy that holds popcorn. It has the train whistle. It really wheels. It's super cute. This has changed the game again, though. This is another working ride. It lights up. Tremendous. I also, the shout out to the carousel from Disney World last year, the Prince Charming Regal carousel bucket. That was really neat, too. But the U.S. Parks popcorn bucket game, they're on top of it right now. Meanwhile, Disney California Adventure 25th anniversary merchandise is available. There's a hooded sweatshirt for $59.99, a t-shirt for $36.99. The Magic Key t-shirt is also $36.99. There's a baseball cap for $32.99. A jumbo pin is $64.99. A Mickey pin is $24.99. And a mini pin is $24.99 as well. Napa Rose reopens with a reimagined dining experience and menu at Disney's Grand Californian Hotel and Spa tonight, actually. We got a special preview dinner earlier this week. We have the full review up on our website. In fact, as soon as I finish recording the show, I need to finish editing our video review so you guys can watch it if you prefer. We'll get that out tonight, hopefully. And yeah, so if you can't wait, go check out our review. I think they did a great job in the interior. I talk about it more in the review, but either way, please go check out our coverage. You've heard us talking about renting DVC points through our friends at DVCRentalStore.com. Well, if you've rented points and got a taste of the DVC lifestyle of a Disney vacation, you might be thinking that it's time to jump in and join the club. But did you know you don't have to pay the price Disney charges for a membership? You can save thousands of dollars when you buy resale contracts. Contact our friends at DVC Resale Market to find out how much you can save. Go to dvcresalemarket.com/WDWNT for more information. It's a great way to stay at we just talked about the Grand Californian. It's a great DVC to stay at. The Tomorrowland stage at Hong Kong Disneyland is now closed for construction of the new Tower of Terror style Marvel ride. Disney Magical Kingdom blog shared photos on Instagram of the construction walls around the stage and the NRG Pod snack kiosk. They were blocked off in late January after the stage's screen was shut down. Construction walls run from the Space Traders gift shop at the exit of Space Mountain to the Expo shop, the Marvel store just outside of the Iron Man Experience. NRG Pod, the stage and planet decorations are still visible behind the walls. A crane in the distance is preparing for the construction. Hong Kong Disneyland announced its Marvel-themed area Stark Expo in 2016. The idea was for it to replace most of Tomorrowland. Of course, the Iron Man Experience opened in 2017. Ant-Man and the Wasp Nano Battle in 2019. There was an e-ticket Avengers Quinjet ride announced, but it never happened. And instead now, finally going to use that land for this Tower of Terror style Marvel ride featuring Spider-Man and friends. Disney Cruise Line teased that the Disney Wish is coming to European cruises via the United Kingdom. The teaser video opens with a storybook that reads, "Once upon a time." The pages turn to one that says, "In a land not so far, far away. Something magical is coming." An image of the ship in front of the UK flag appears. It's been long rumored that the Disney Cruise Line would bring the Disney Wish to the Southampton port of the UK. 2027 itineraries are expected to be released this month, so we'll be getting that confirmation soon. This makes too much sense. The Wish has run its course at a Port Canaveral. Their bookings are low. It is constantly discounted. This goes without saying, the least popular ship in the entire fleet, I think, bar none. So if you can get it somewhere where people haven't really seen it or put it on better itineraries, I think it's going to help the Wish tremendously. Rosanna has seen the other ships in this fleet, and she keeps asking, well, when will we ever do the Wish? You hate the Wish. We're not going to end up going. It's like the opportunity will someday present itself. So good itinerary. I will go. We will go on the Wish again. I will subject myself to that ship, but one more time in my life. And it'd probably be out of Southampton. Disney Cruise Line has increased Wi-Fi package pricing, but apparently only on select ships. The price increase may be rolling out in phases. We heard reports of the increased Wi-Fi pricing in mid-January. However, when we took a Disney cruise sailing in late January, our internet packages were the same prices as they were before, $26 a day for basic internet or $42 a day for the internet and streaming. When we sailed on the Disney Fantasy soon after, we saw that the plans were priced higher. The internet streaming plan was $49 a day now, and the standard internet plan was increased to $30 a day. It's possible prices are being raised in phases across the Disney Cruise Line fleet. We'll have to wait and see how that all pans out. But I would assume they're all going to be those higher prices soon enough. Disney Cruise Line's newest ship has made history in the maritime world during the crossing of the Panama Canal. On February 2nd, the ship entered the first set of canal locks around 7:30 a.m. Eastern and was nearing the exit of the final canal locks at 8 p.m. that day. The Adventure, weighing in at 208,000 gross tons and measuring 342 meters or 1,122 feet in length, has set the new record for the largest cruise ship to ever transit the Panama Canal. The previous record was held by the Norwegian Bliss, operated by Norwegian Cruise Line, which weighed 168,000 gross tons and measured 1,093 feet from stem to stern, so it's considerably bigger. This also makes the Adventure the first cruise ship over 200,000 to make the crossing. This is a pretty cool thing. Of course, the Disney Adventure's maiden voyage is out of Singapore on March 10th, and we will be there. We're going to actually do 2 cruises in that month to bring you as much coverage as possible of what will be the most interesting ship, I think, in the entire DCL fleet. For the absolute latest on these stories and all that didn't make it into today's show, be sure to check WDWNT.com and follow us on all your favorite social media platforms. You can support the entire team behind this show and others by joining the WDWNT Interglobe Society at patreon.com/WDWNT. Get access to exclusive content, discounted show and event tickets, and more. Special shout out to our WIGS members who make this show happen every week. For the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is Tom Corliss saying, enjoy the rest of your today. Have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.